Hello, class. And for this week, the challenge is going to be we're going to use the concatenate function. And to explain the function, let's walk through a quick example. I'm just going to give a title here to my spreadsheet, and I'll call it my contact list. As always, we're going to format the cells to dress it up. So I'll merge and center, and then I will simply enlarge my font, maybe change my font, maybe change my font color. Maybe I want to shade and add a background. So you need to format. You can format this however you want, as long as it stands out nicely. And then I'm going to have headings. So let's say my first heading is last name, and my next heading is middle name, my next one is first name. And as we have learned in Excel, we can change our column widths by going to the Home tab. In the Cells group, we can click on Format and adjust column width. Additionally, we can select the text, and in our Home tab, in the Alignment group, we can select Wrap Text. Either way, when you manually adjust the columns, they're not always exactly formatted to the same sizes. So that's where we want to be careful. So we always want to go for uniform consistency. In the alignment group, we can also adjust how our text is aligned within that cell. We've also learned in the Home tab, in the Styles group, from the Cell Style pull-down arrow, we can apply a heading style to our headings. So this is basic formatting. So now let's say I have a last name of Joe, and a middle name of Alan, and a first name of Carrie. So my contact's name is Carrie Allen Doe. But for some reason, I want to create my list so that I have all of this information in one cell. And that's where I'll use the concatenate function, where I'm going to bring multiple items in from cells into one cell. And as always, we know a function begins with the equal sign. The function that we're talking about is the concatenate function. So as I start typing that, I can see the concatenate function, which I will select. And now you're going to see open parenthesis. And now here I'll put in where my text 1, text 2 is. I want to begin with first name, which is in C3. I then will follow that by a separator or a comma here. And you can see my function up here in the formulas bar. So I now want a middle name. But if I don't put a space in my function, the middle name will be one run-on to the last name. Let me quickly show you what I mean by that. I'll select the middle name, followed by a comma, and then the last name, and then I'll close parentheses. Now I'll hit the Enter or Return key on my keyboard. You now see how the name is just all Carrie Allen Doe all mixed together with no spaces in between. In order to add the spaces in between, after I've typed in C3, I have a comma. After the comma, I need to have quotes, give myself a space, and end quotes, followed by a comma. Now let's look at the difference that made. I'll hit the Enter key on my keyboard. Now I have a space after Carrie and before Allen. I now need to put a space between Allen and Doe, between the middle name and last name. So I need to follow the same concept. After I've typed in B3, which is the cell where my middle name is, I have a comma, and then I have an open quote, space, and a close quote, followed by a comma. Now when I hit the enter or return key, I can see that my name is formatted properly. And just as an example, if I wanted to, in these quotes where I have a space, let's say I want a hyphen. I can simply put a hyphen in those quotes, hit enter, return, and you see now I have Carrie Allen hyphen Doe. So you can put what you want in these quotes accordingly that will then space that out for you. So this week's challenge is for you to create, well, it could be your dog if you have a first, middle, and last name, or your child, or your spouse, or your friend. And use the concatenate function to combine data that's in 3 separate cells all into one using the concatenate function. I look forward to seeing who's going to take on this challenge.